Okay, so hi everybody. So my name is Savin Pradhan, and I'm doing a presentation today on the Python and Django framework. So I'm talking about a little bit about the Python and more about the Django framework today. And so the Python and Django framework, I just started learning, and I never used this as a professional before, so I just started learning this stuff. So let me start on my slide. Okay. Okay, so it is created by Guido van Rossum in late 1980s, and yeah, when I heard the name Python, I also think like this programming is named after the snake, which is not true. When I do some research, and I found out it's named after the British TV show Monty Python, which is the comedian show. So I never watched that show, but when I Googled it, I found out that's a comedian show. So it is named after that. And, Python is an interpreted programming language, and Python 3.0 that supports the modern techniques like AI, machine learning, and data science. Mhm. Okay, so why, choose to Python? So, the Python is one of the top 10 programming languages of 2019. And is a general purpose and high level programming language. So Python, generally use the English keywords for the syntax, not the punctuation. So that's why it's readable. And it is multiple programming paradigms because it supports the object-oriented and the structured programming. So and it is compatible, with many operating systems. So it's allowed us to run the same code on the multiple platform without recompile it. So that's why it's compatible with the lots of major platform and system. And it have many open source framework like the Django's I'm talking about today, and the Flags, and lots of tools, which are mostly the open source and the free. So, and personally, I liked when I saw the Python get introduced by my wife. I saw the coding there, and personally, I like, oh, this is a simple way to learn coding, and that's what I get interested. And also, I thought, oh, it is cool to learn some Python and Django. Right. Okay, so like other programming languages, it have a data type, so integer, float, string, bool, and there's a sequence type, it's a string byte. And byte is just a sequence of integers, and there's a set, and the mapping types, there's a dictionary. So these are the data types like other programming languages. Only things I found the Python have is the bytes, which I didn't see in the other programming language. All right, so the control types in the Python, there's if else, and the for loop also there, and the while loop. So in the control flow, in the syntax, it uses the column at the end of the particular statement, and also use the indentation, the white space. And this is the thing which make the Python apart from the other programming. Put in there. Right. Okay, so the function in the Python, we use the keyword definition, and I just put the simple function definition. The def my function is just print the hello. So this is how we define the function in the Python. And the function, in the Python always returns something, at least none. And so there's asterisk args and asterisk quirk, which is asterisk args you can pass as arguments with the multiple arguments on it, and with the quirks is a dictionary which you can pass as a dictionary to the argument to the function. So this is the function in the Python. Okay, so the like other languages which support the object-oriented Python also support that, and it defines the class using the class keyword. And Python supports, standard features of object-oriented, that it supports the multiple inheritance, and also polymorphism. And here I'm just showing the class and instance variable, how it's look like. In the left side is the class variable. We just define the animal type, and then we can just access that variable using the class name dot animal type. Whereas in instance variable, we need to have the constructor is in it, and then we need to create the object and then access that particular instance variable by using that object. So the class variable and the instance variables. Okay. Okay, so next I'm going to talking about the module and package. So, module in the Python is just contain the Python statements and the definition on it. And whatever the file we create and with the extension .py, that can be as a module. So, when we create that particular module, there is a, special variable is a built-in variable, which is underscore name, that is set to that particular file name, which is given it. Suppose if I give the module1.py, it is set to that name, underscore name of that file name. And we can run the module on the command line as a script. So when we run that, now that name is set to the main, not to the module file name. So let me show you that example of that. So how it just looks like. So here I'm just defining the simple module 1, and the module 2 is just print, and I'm just doing the if name is got the name, just model is being run directly. And as module 1 is being imported, and module 2 also we're doing like the same thing, but we are importing the module 1 in the module 2, and then we are just doing the same thing as the module 1. So let me show you if I run this one. Yeah, module name is equal to main, and module is being run directly. If I do the module 2, then now the module name is set to the module 1, because we didn't directly run the module 1 from the command prompt, but we run the module 2 from the command prompt. That's why it's module 2 name is set to the main, and module 1 is named to the whatever is file name, and module 2 is being run directly. So this is the features when I went to the Python. The main name is set like that into the model. All right. There. Why is that? Sorry. Sorry about that. So the packages are the collection of all these modules, and to create the package as certain folder, like we can structure like a particular folder with containing lots of modules on it, and for the Python to create that particular folder as a package, we need to have this special file, which is init_py. It's the key module file. If you don't have that under that folder, then Python don't treat that whole folder as a package. So, and on this module file, we don't need to put anything at all. It's just a blank, but we need to have that module file under that folder, which we need to treat as a packages. Okay. All right. Besides Prasan, can anybody tell me who is this guy? Alright, so this is just a jazz guitarist whose name is Django Environment, and Django is named after this guitarist. So that's I saw the picture of the guitarist. and he has nothing to do with this Django framework at all. So I don't know why they like his name, or they have like the jazz music, they name after the framework on his name. So all right, so let's talk about the Django now. So yeah, I'm just talk the Python a little bit, so I'm going to talk more about the Django. So all right, so Django is a free and open source framework, and it is used by also the NASA to some of their program, and also used by the Pinterest and Instagram and Mozilla. And so Django is a name after this Django Reinhardt, which is the guitarist. I saw the picture, and Django was created in 2003 in the Kansas Lawrence, and it was released actually in 2005. Okay, so let's start at how we can install the Django. So yeah, so when I talked about the Python, I forgot to tell you about there's an Anaconda distribution which you can install it going through the anaconda.com. That is a free distribution. When you install that, it will install the Python on it. And when we install that Anaconda, we can install the Django also using that free distribution stuff, or we can install the Django by just doing the pip install the Django. But if you have Anaconda installed, then you can have a virtual environment to create that by using that Anaconda distribution, and then you can install the Python or Django, the version you like to. So you can have like multiple environment, and you can have multiple version of Python or Django combination. You can whatever the way.
It's like analog to NPM, like package manager.
Yeah, is it? Yeah. So So if I'm also doing in this presentation, like create the virtual environment, I'll create that and create install the Django there. So the command I'm showing is just an example of how we can create the environment. And once we have that environment, then we can just create the Django project by using the Django admin start project and the first project. So let me show you. And yeah, so I have already the environment is already set up. So this is my Django environment I've created that. So I'm just gonna go this. That's why it's not copying it. Let's see. Okay. So I'm just creating my project. Okay, so my project is already created, and if the next command is to create the app under that project. So for that, let me go to there's my project. Okay, and then regarding that, let me create my app under that project. Okay. All right, so if I go to my studio, my project. Okay, so yeah, so my project is created, and we already created my app under that project, and so this is the simple command to create the project and my app. So we already created the one project, and one app with just two command by using that. So yeah, this like blew me out. Like, oh, this is just to have the simple two command, and now we can have the project and app under it. So we can run that app into the server, into our local server. We have Anaconda distribution on it, so you can just like so when we run the server, it just run to the default port 8000. We can give the port number, whatever the port number we can after this Python that manages run server and the port number. So, yeah, so this is just a simple app I created, and this is the default file, which is Django provided. So yeah, this is the simple project I created. So this is the way we create the project in the Django for the simple project here. Okay. Okay, so we already, when we create this project, and we also create the app. So once we create that app, in that when we create the project, there's a settings.py file. So we need to include that whatever the app we create, we can create a multiple app under that project. So whatever the app we created, that need to be put into settings.py. There's we have this include app variables. Insert under that, we need to include the app name to run that particular app. And when we create the Django project, by default, Django use the SQLite SQL server. So it's a SQLite server, database server, and database. And we can use other also like MySQL and Oracle. And if you want to use the SQL server there, we need to use the third-party tools for that. It also supports that. But by default, this is just a SQLite. Okay, so after create the project and app, there is a certain files is under that app, and one of them is the model.py file. So the model is actually the the file we have. We can create a certain class structure there with the class and certain attributes of the class under that. And whatever the attributes we define under that model, that attribute is treated as a database field. So in the Django, mostly we do like create the models, and then after creating the models, and then we run the migration, and then we create the database for that. So that's the way we can do, like also use the existing database, but the mostly Django way is to create the model first, and then create the database stuff there. So I'm just here's just the example of how the model is look like. So we are using the class user, and there's a first name, last name, and email attributes, and we define the character field and the email of the email field, and also pass some options. I'm just passing the one of the option like maximum length, which is the option of the database field, like what the fields look like. So that's the options we can pass there, like how our fields can be look like. And so relationship can be created there by linking the models using with a foreign key. And Django supports many-to-many, many-to-one, and one-to-many relationship. So, and each model on the Python is Python class that is subclass of the Django models.model is a subclass of that. So that's what we're using there, models.model. Okay. So next, Yeah, so yeah, migration. So once we create the models, we need to do the migration to keep the sync with the database. And the command we use is the migration and SQL migrate. And to do just the migration, the simple command is manage.py, Python manage.py, make migration, and whatever the app we have, and whatever we define the models on that app, we just need to run that app name, and then just run the manage.py.migrate. It will create the SQL database field there once you run that model. So, if we want to design the database, then we need to create the model properly, and we need to, do some show what our app should be look like before we create the model. Mm-hmm. So next, I'm talking about the views.py, which is just another file when you create the app. So it's a simple Python function. It's a functional class. It's just take the web request and send back the web response. So that web response can be, HTML content of web page. So View just requests information from the model and passes to the template. And view is the place where we put the most of our business logic stuff to get the data from the model, whatever the model we import into the views, and we just query the data from the model there. So here there's two types of views: class-based views and function-based views, CVV and FVV. So on the function-based views, we just define the function, and in the class-based, we define the class, and then we define the function under that class. So for the class-based view, have a little bit advantage compared to function view. Class-based view, when we use that, there's a code reusability because we can inherit that class to other place, so you can use it later at other places. Other than that, we can use any of this, like function-based or class-based on when we define the views. Okay, so next one is URL.py, which is for creating the URL to route the page. Okay. So Django lets you design the URL whatever the way you want. There's no framework limitation at all. And URL model is pure Python code. So I'm going to show you after this slide how is the URL views and look like. So URL, the file is pure Python, and it just mapped the URL path extension to the Python function on which we created the views. So it just mapped that. And URL conf mode is also it's called URL-conf. We can URL.py is also called URL-conf. It's like for the basic name only. You can also call URLs.py or URL-conf. Okay, let me show you how the URL and views and model look like. Go to okay, so yeah, so the views, this is the file. It is I already created the app2 and under that app2 we have the view.py file. So this is the view. We have just the function index, and it's taking the request, and I'm just sending the HTTP response with the main homepage. And there's another function called app index. And so when we create the app and when we create the project, there's a URL.py is created only under the project, which is this one. But we can create the URL specific to the app by creating the file under the app, whatever the app we created. So when we create the project, this is the URL which is on the project. So, and this admin stuff is added by Django automatically when you create it, and other stuff is I added path as view. So index and name index. So let me run this. Yep, okay, so let me run this. Okay, so I just run the Pro2 app in the port 8000. So this is the main home page. It's showing up. So if I go, yeah, so this is the index. I defined the function, and in the URLs, I'm just calling that view as index, and that is what this is rendering from here, whatever we call. So next is app index, which is under app create under the app2. Yeah, so this is the specific to app. I call the path home, and it's calling the view.app.index. So if I go to yeah, yeah, so this is what is displayed now, which we have on the view. Yep. So this is now app index is called this function, and it just send back that response, my second app. And I put the URL on the URL. If you notice, there's app2 and then /home. So this app2 I define. So if I go to into the project, I'm including the app2 views, and then I'm just defining the path, and then I'm including that app2 URLs here. So that's why we give this path app2 / and the home is the name which we define into that app. So that's how it. Yep.
And these URL headers just a sort of database developed alongside the data structure responsible for the
Oh, you mean to say so URL, yeah, so to display the JSON, everything we rendering from the views. So you just call the path there. And we can also, if you're talking about like URL, on the URL with the key or something like that, or we can do that. But if we want to send the response, that is the response is sent from the view. So you can send whatever you want from that view. Okay. Let's go to the beginning. I don't know. Okay. I don't know why it's going to there. So, okay. So that's a URL and the views. So next thing is the template. So I just showed the example where you can render whatever the thing you want to display on the page on the views. But most generic way is to use the template on the views. So, whatever thing we want to display, just put into the template and use that template. So in the Django, the template is just a text file, and we need to define the particular folder, and under that folder, we can define whatever the template file we needed. And on the templates, we can use the variable tags and the filter. So the variable is just surrounded by the curly braces, and whatever the value we put inside that curly braces will be, we can display that into the page, and the tags are like it's like a similar to the pre-built-in function, so it is we can use to perform certain action onto the template, like if else, for loop, and also the third one. This is block content and block. This is the template inheritance, which I'm gonna show you in the next slide, like what's the template inheritance means. So and there we can also implement we can also use the filter, which is just the pipe delimiter which you use on the variable. Okay, so let me show you how the template is look like. Let's go to here. So this is the first project I already have created here, and so this is the folder we have to create this template folder on the project, and we need to include this folder into the settings.py file to know that there's a folder called templates on it. And once we do that, so this is just a simple template which is just rendering the variable stuff here, and from the views, the py, we are just requesting that template and passing the context there, my dictionary, and this is insert index and insert block. So let me run the app and show you. This one. Okay. Okay, I'm running on this page too. Okay. This has happened when we decided to do the presentation. All right, so let me check what's on here. Sorry about that. First project, yep. URL. Yep. There's the URL. This is the first project. First app. View. And view. Text. HTML import.
You're going to put that after the slash.
Did I put that URL in the
Number 2.
No. So if I go,
Here, the number 2.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So thanks, Prasan. Yeah. So this is just the hello world. This I'm displaying here from the template. Which is I'm just hello world and whatever the variable I'm sending from the views. This insert index. The value is in this template, which is I'm passing from the view, and this is the index.template. I'm using it here, and on the index.template, I'm just displaying the simple variable here. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so template inheritance. So this template inheritance is one of the most powerful of the template engine in Django. So mostly template inheritance we use for the common thing we need into our application or site, like a nav bar, which is we need to have an every page, and and own page have their own HTML stuff or their own thing. So that time we use mostly use the template inheritance, and also for the do not repeat yourself principle to implement that, because if you define the basic stuff into one place, then we don't need to write to all the other places if we can inherit that. So for that, the Django way is just define the block and the name of the block and end block into the base page, and then the child just extend that page, and then define their own block. So whatever we define here is just for the child stuff, and that is rendered in there. Display the child. This is the specific child in the whatever we define in the child. So let me show you also the example of that. This one. The same thing. Yep, there you go. Okay. Alright, let's try. How can I? Okay, so here, this is just a nav bar I have, which is the common thing to the base page. And if I go to other page, it'll just display the content of other page, but all the nav is same. So, this is just a simple example of how we can use the nav bar for using the template inheritance. So if I go to the code, yeah. So here, yeah, so in this page, this is all the navbar stuff I'm using it, and let me close this. And here I'm just defining the block, body block. That's where we want to display the child specific thing. So this is the base page. We have all the navbar on the top, and this is the block I'm defining here. And in the particular child, which is like other HTML, I'm extending the base app base.html, and then I'm putting this specific to that child, like welcome to other page. That's what's displayed into the page, and all the base page stuff will be displayed there on the top. So this is the template inheritance is used. This is the way we use into Django.
You can define more than one block, right? So
yeah.
You give it a name and you can.
Yes, you can do the multiple. I just give the one like block, body block is the name of that block. You can give multiple of that. Yep. Okay, so next thing I'm talking about is just the form that, so most of the website or application we have, like to take the user input, so we need the forms for that. So when we need to create the form, we need to create the HTML input and everything, and we need to do the validation by itself. We need to do the validation, and if there's a validation fail, then we need to display the message, and if it's success, we need to display the success message, like that. But Django, will do this thing for us. Like we don't need to do that at all. So when we define the particular form class, and we just create the form.py and define the class under that, and define the attributes of that class, then that particular form, Django will handle all the stuff like for the validation and create the HTML form, all the stuff. So you just need to have the class and the attributes under that. So like models, like in the model, what the attribute we define is, it is changed to the data field, but in the form, whatever the attributes we define in the class, that will be just a particular HTML input element there. So, so the example basic form. Yeah, so this is just the form, the PY I created that, and it has just a name and email and text, and I'm just defining the character field, email field, and character field with the text area here. And from the page HTML, I'm just going through that particular element of the form, and I'm just scan the posted. So it's yeah, so the class attribute we just defined in the form, that's its name element, and text now is rendered as the HTML input here. So, it will, if I put there, and if I try to do this, yes, it's do some validation here, like how emails should be look like. So this is all Django will handle that by default. You can write your own custom validation also there, but Django came with the built-in. So you can write your own custom validation, what you want to display or what the validation you want to do it there. Yeah, so this is just the form, the simple form, which is take the values and okay. Yeah, so Django used a model template viewer paradigm. So it's just like a model like MVC. So we have a models, views, template, and URL. Model is just to perform the CRUD operation there, like create, update, and delete the record. And the views is just to create the data from that model and import that model. And the template, we just pass the data from the model, from the views to that template and display the values there. And the URL, we just map the URL to the view function or class we created there. So this is the more template view pattern, which is Django use. You can same like MVC stuff. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. So this is the reference I use for this presentation. I take the Udemy online course, and also using the Wikipedia and Django documentation and the Python tutorial site. So mostly I learned the Django using the Udemy course, and I like that. And I'm still learning about how to do the deployment stuff, by using the Django and testing, because I'm still learning it right now. So that's why I didn't go through about the testing stuff, which we can do into the Django also. I'm still learning on that. Yeah, so that's it. So if you have any question, comment.
How did you feel when you learned Django compared to what you already done?
Yeah, so, when I learned the Django and the Python, so I really feel like it, because using the it's really easy to learn. That's what I feel like, there's no, very hard to learn. It's not like that. You can learn easily, and the command are really short, and you can understand most of the basic thing. So yes, I personally feel like Django is really powerful. Also, like it supports lots of things. Like it support it have own authentication thing, and lots of stuff there is we can use come in handy. You can don't need to build by yourself, so you can use it. So I really like that when I learned that. No. So so Flax, I think I haven't looked at it, but it's a lightweight than the Django. So for the if you have a simple project, you can use the Flax. But whereas the Django is a whole big framework you can use for the big project. It's like a full stack stuff, but the Flax is a simple. But this Oh, okay. I don't know that. Thanks for letting me know. Yep, that's it. Thank you. Yes. Okay, I need to stop.